Good morning, students. Today we are going to see about vector product of two vectors or cross product of two vectors. Suppose you have two vectors, A vector and B vector. A vector is given as A1I vector plus A2J vector plus A3K vector, and B vector is given as B1I vector plus B2J vector plus B3K vector. Then the cross product of these two vectors, A vector and B vector, is given as A vector cross B vector. This is the notation for cross product of these two vectors, and it is defined as the determinant. That is, this value is obtained using the determinant of a matrix. The matrix elements are obtained by using the coefficients of A vector and B vector. First you have to write I vector, J vector and K vector here, and then next we have to write the coefficient of IJK in the A vector, that is A1, coefficient of J in A vector is A2, coefficient of K in A vector is A3. So you have to write it here. Similarly, next is written as coefficient of I in B vector, that is B1, coefficient of J in B vector, that is B2, coefficient of K vector in B vector is B3. So when you expand this determinant, you can get the cross product of these two vectors, A vector cross B vector. Okay, now we will do problems under this type. The problem is you have to find A vector cross B vector. Okay, and if A vector is given as A vector is equal to 2I vector plus J vector plus 3K vector, and B vector is given as 3I vector plus 5J vector minus 2K vector. Okay, so we have to find the cross product of A vector and B vector. Now you write A vector cross B vector is equal to determinant. First you have to write the I vector, J vector and K vector. Next you have to write the coefficient of IJK in A vector. So 2, coefficient of I vector here is in A is 2 and coefficient of J in A vector is 1 and coefficient of K in J vector is 3. Okay, and then next you have to write the coefficient of IJK in B vector. So coefficient of I in B vector is 3, coefficient of J in B vector is 5 and coefficient of K in B vector is minus 2. That you have to write it here. Okay, now you have to expand this. So we have I vector into, expansion of this is I vector into, you have to do this way, cross product of these two terms first. Okay, so first you have to do 1 into minus 2, it becomes minus 2 and minus formula you have minus 5 into 3 is 15. Okay, this term, the product of these two terms minus product of these two, you have to do it. Okay, after that the formula you have minus J vector here. Okay, minus J vector into, you have to put here, that is leaving this row and this column, you have to leave this rows and columns. Remaining terms you have to consider, this term alone you have to consider. Okay, so cross product of these two, so 2 into minus 2 is minus 4 and here you have minus 3 into 3 is 9, so minus 4 minus 9. Okay, and then plus K vector into, here leaving this rows and columns, remaining terms you have this term alone, these two terms alone. So 2 into 5 you have to consider, 2 into 5 is 10, minus you have formula you have to put minus, and here 3 into 1 is 3. Okay, this is the product of this one, that is I vector into minus 17 minus J vector into minus 13 plus K vector into 7. 10 minus 3 is 7. Okay, now you have to write this term to be minus 17 I vector plus minus minus you have plus. Okay, product term minus minus is converted into plus 13j vector plus 7k vector. Okay, this is the value of a vector cross b vector. Suppose we are asked to find modulus of a vector cross b vector. Okay, modulus of, this is not a determinant, this is a modulus. Modulus of a vector cross b vector. Suppose we asked to find modulus of a vector cross b vector, then you have to square this term. Okay, square root of, you have to square this term and this term plus this term. Okay, so minus 17 the whole squared plus 13 squared plus 7 squared. Okay, so which is equal to minus 17 the whole squared is equal to 289. Okay, minus minus it becomes plus when you're squaring this, and 17 into 17 is 289. Okay, 289 plus 13 into 13 is 169 plus 7 into 7 is 49. Okay, which is equal to, here you have 9 plus 9, 18. 18 plus 9 is 27. Remaining you have a 2. For 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. 12 plus 8 is 20. And remaining you have a 2. 2 plus 1, 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. So 507 is the modulus of a vector cross b vector value. This is the way you have to find out the cross product of two vectors. Thank you.